After you've installed my files, you are ready to start learning about VPA, volume price analysis, or VSA, volume spread analysis. Like I said in the earlier videos, they're really just one and the same, and I use the terms interchangeably. What I want you to do is I want you to go into the designer and remember that the smart groups are set up. I had to set up the smart groups. I want to point out that there's a folder here called volume price analysis, and all of these stocks had a VPA flag generated on Friday. I don't know if these flags are positive or negative. That's why I have other screens set up for you, but I just want to point out that if you were to go through all of these, you would find that they generated a VPA flag on this day. And each of these flags means something. Individually, they can guide you in the right direction, but you have to put everything in context. You have to look at the entire chart. We look at the groups a lot to see what the groups are doing and so on. But just to get familiar with VPA, if you go to your Help menu, select Table of Contents. This will bring up a web browser. And over here in the search on the right-hand side, just type in VPA. Select VPA. And the first link should be Volume Price Analysis, VPA. And you can scroll down here and it will introduce you to the VPA indicators and features that we have in the program, that we have access to in the program. You'll find this in the charting module. You can display the VPA analysis in the upper corner of the chart, draw VPA flags on charts, include VPA commentary in the data window. I'm not going to go through all this. You can read this on your own, but you should study this and possibly even print it out, although you don't want to print out the black. That takes a lot of ink, so just read it online. And when you get down here, it explains the colors, and then down here at the bottom, these are the flag names and descriptions. The colors, what the flags mean. This is where you'll really come to this area to learn the definitions. It's best just to bring up charts and look for these flags that appeared previously and see what the results were. Now, this is the information in the upper left portion of the window. If I edit the indicator, volume price analysis, and remove this, notice that that information is gone. If I go back in, I'm right mouse clicking on my mouse, I'm editing the indicator volume price analysis, and I'm bringing that information back. So if I click anywhere on here, and I'll go back here on this one, it tells me that this is May 8th of 2019, and the VPA flag is strength seen returning after a downtrend. It didn't go up immediately, but there is the selling pressure has come off from this short downtrend here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. And if you look at the next candle, it opened here, traded down here, but closed in the upper part of its range. This is another strength in returning. And then on this one, this is an up bar closing near the high. It confirms the return of strength. And this stock made a nice move, but it got up in this area. And notice the upper wick here. That was profit taking. That means that supply is coming in. Back in this area, it means that demand is coming in. What happens? There is an immediate sell-off over the next few days. This is effort to fall. And then we get back down here and we start seeing some similar VPA flags. Didn't make a move here. This is a shakeout below the support area on heavy volume. The traders you're competing against, the market makers, they want to shake you out, and this turns into a shakeout. You don't know that at the time, but there is some indication here that there was demand coming in because it's noticeable in this wick here. And then the next day, buyers stepped up and engulfed the prior day, and it took off and made a little run. This here indicates some profit taking. No VPA flags up here. It's looking for support here, but recently the market has been weak and this has fallen off. Now about 60% of your movement in a stock can be attributed to the overall market. So what you need to do is be aware of what the market is doing. I'm going to drop down to chart number 6, because this contains the industry group line. And in this instance, you can see, now this group line is on a private scale. The group was coming down here, this was holding up, so it was outperforming the group, and then it was moving up. Then when the group rolled over, notice how the stock rolled over too. What do we have now? We have another VPA flag, strengthening returning after a downtrend. Get rid of the crosshair. Group's still going down. Market's weak right now, so you have to be careful. Is this a stock I would be interested in? No. I just grabbed it and used it because it was in the list. This is a telecom carrier. You can see that they made a little money last quarter, but it was down 83.3% compared to the same quarter 1 year earlier, where they earned 6 cents. This is the fundamental window. And there are several panes to it. You just click down. I'm not going to go through all these right now. Just want to make you aware of them. If you want more of a definition of this, go to that help file that I pointed out earlier in the video and get a description of it. I'm going to flip back to the smart groups. I'll move down here to the leaders, raw relative strength, raw group rank combo. What this does is it creates a group of 100 stocks every day. And these stocks are high relative strength stocks. So maybe we can, maybe I can find some stocks in here with a VPA flag that show a little more promise. I'm going to flip through to the warehouse view. I'll make it a full size. Notice it says 101 securities up here. That includes the index. Notice that this column right here, RS, these are all green. These are going to be high relative strength stocks. I am using the same combo ranking. End of day volume point of control is positive. These are, I believe these stocks showed up in the prior group. But one thing about them, they're all high relative strength stocks. If I click on this up here, it's a spectrum analyzer, and I can go down and or go in and click on industry, and it tells me where the strength in the market is currently. It's in precious metal and mining stocks, followed by application software, then by renewable energy equipment. Precious metal and mining stocks have been strong for quite some time now. If you click down here, because I have highlighted this in this slice, these are the precious metal and mining stocks. And you can see that this is a very strong stock that has had several good VPA flags, or calls, or signals, I should say. A test for supply, a very powerful VPA flag. Another one, this is a confirmation of these tests. And then here is strength seen returning, and the stock has started moving up again. Now look down here where it was under accumulation. Here's the group. Notice that the group was going down. This stock was holding up. This is an accumulation area where the smart money is buying. Takes off, This is a low volume bar or a low volume test. And the reason it occurred is that the stock opened here, traded down to here, but closed near its high, and volume was light. That's the smart money is testing for supply to see if there are many sellers out there, and there were not. And look what happened. The stock took off. And it took off with its group. So group is very important. The market's very important. The group is very important. And lastly, the stock is important. But these stocks have a tendency to move together. And that's what this dotted line represents. These are all of the precious metal and mining stocks that are contained in the group. I'm going to move on to the next video and continue this discussion about VPA flags and prospecting.